My name is Paige, and I'm 27 years old. The reason why I'm able to live life to the fullest every day is because of my Aunt Audrey on my mother's side. There was a time during the new year when I was young, and we went to Aunt Audrey's house. When I was about to brush my teeth, I noticed something strange. I saw a tube of garlic paste on the washstand. I couldn't find the toothpaste, so I showed the tube of garlic paste to Aunt Audrey.
Oh my, that's embarrassing. I can't believe I did it again.
After saying that, Aunt Audrey opened the refrigerator and found the toothpaste and the space for condiments.
Oh my, that was disaster averted. If you didn't notice that it was garlic paste and used it as a toothpaste, your cute little mouth will stink like my husband's breath when he comes home from the bar.
I'm glad I noticed that it was garlic paste before everyone woke up and started using it as toothpaste.
Yes, that's right. Thanks to you for being an early riser, Paige. With that said, here you go, your New Year's gift.
Wow, thank you so much, Aunt Audrey. Huh? I think I heard a crisp when she handed it to me. Whoa, it's dried seaweed.
What? Oh my, what am I doing? When I looked at the plate on the table, there are bills on it.
Aunt Audrey, please calm down. You're always in a hurry. That's why you make mistakes, you know. Just like what happened, Aunt Audrey is always hasty, so she gets things mixed up funnily a lot. But her hastiness aside, she is a very kind aunt who always takes care of me with a smile on her face. I love my aunt. However, right after this, I ended up having a huge problem. My family consists of my parents and me and my younger sister, Sienna. Sienna always got a perfect score on her exams in elementary school. Also, she remembers the car plate numbers of strangers as well as phone numbers. Even if she only hears them once, she remembers them correctly, and she doesn't forget everything she learned at all. Seeing that ability that my younger sister has, our parents were curious about our intelligence quotients, and so she asked us to take an IQ test. The results showed that I had an average IQ. However, they discovered that Sienna has a 130 IQ. At first, I thought that was really amazing, so I praised her by saying that's great. But ever since our parents learned that I was average while my sister was a genius, they started doting on my sister and treated me very differently from her. During dinner, Sienna always has sumptuous dishes in front of her, while they only give me rice and some soup. I don't even get a good morning and a good night. What's even worse is that on my birthday, it was the first day of a consecutive holiday. In the morning, my parents came to my room and said,
Paige, your father and I, together with Sienna, are going to Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming because it looks like Sienna is interested in learning more about it by actually seeing it.
Huh?
We'll be going there by car, but if you sit in the back seat, Sienna won't have the space to place the books she'll be bringing, so you'll just take up space. That's why we're sorry, but we're gonna ask you to stay at home for a few days.
What? But wait, today is my birthday.
Wait, really? I forgot.
That's horrible. While I was having a conversation with my parents, Sienna walked into my room and said,
Mom and Dad, hurry up. I heard about a birthday or something, but you have too much idle talk. I keep on reminding you to always do things rationally, right?
Also, Sienna started referring to me as a useless being and an irrational hindrance. This is the worst birthday ever. Well, I did expect something like this to happen. Halfway through, I gave up expecting them to treat me normally, but after this, another problem occurred. A few hours after the three of them left on their trip, I checked the fridge to see what I'll have for lunch. What? There's no food here. There was no bread or rice, and there was no pasta or instant noodles I could eat. The consecutive holidays will last 4 days. I have no idea when they're coming back home. Since my parents didn't give me any allowance, I already used the monetary gift that I received from my aunt to buy school supplies that I need, so I don't even have a single dollar with me. My first instinct was to call my parents using the payphone, so I checked the phone book to search for my parents' phone number, but I thought that even if I told them there's no food to eat at home, will they really do something about it? They'll probably just complain and hang up the phone. That's when I saw Aunt Audrey's phone number on the same page as my parents. I will call Aunt Audrey and ask for her help, because even if I call my parents, I'm sure they won't care at all. So I walked to the nearest payphone and called my aunt.
Hello? Who is this?
Aunt Audrey fearfully picked up the phone, but maybe it's because I heard her kind voice, I felt like tears were about to roll down my cheeks. Aunt Audrey, it's me, Paige.
Paige? Are you crying? What's wrong?
Mom and Dad and Sienna went to Wyoming. They told me to stay at home, but there's no food in the house. The phone call ended while I was explaining the situation, but Aunt Audrey, who lives far away, hopped on her car and she drove to our house right after that. She then cooked plenty of food for me, and because she was worried about me, she stayed at our house to take care of me. My parents and my younger sister arrived home in the evening the next day.
Big sis, don't threaten me again saying you'll report me to the Ministry of Children's Affairs.
That's right, because forgetting to feed her was not done on purpose.
What? Are you seriously saying that? And you call yourselves parents? What happened to both of you? You weren't like this before. Because we found out that Sienna has an IQ of 130. Frankly speaking, Sienna has a promising future ahead of her compared to her sister. So of course we find her more adorable compared to the other. What?
You don't understand how we feel because you don't have children. Ah, that's right, I have a good idea. How about you try to raise Paige?
How cruel. Just when I was about to beg my parents crying, that's when it happened.
You irresponsible parents. Get a hold of yourselves.
Then Sienna also said something.
You're being very emotional right now. You're an adult, but you don't know how to control your emotions. You're so dumb, Aunt Audrey.
No matter how much Aunt Audrey preached to them, all my parents said was, take Paige home with you.
That's enough. I decided to raise Paige.
What?
Paige, what do you think? You don't want to live with me?
I will become Aunt Audrey's daughter. I don't mind at all. Of course, I very much welcome this idea because I know that I will be happier that way. I will live with you, Aunt Audrey.
I'm glad you'll be living with her, because now I don't have to do the useless job of taking care of Paige.
Thank you so much, Audrey.
Hearing both my parents' response, Aunt Audrey, who was furious just a few minutes ago, was now speechless. And then, in a small tone, she said,
I understand that genius kids are amazing, but I'm sure that there are also difficulties that come with raising a genius. Putting kids' intelligence aside, I doubt that you will find happiness if you treat your children like things.
Just like that, Aunt Audrey and I got out of the house the next morning. However, before leaving, there was something I wanted to say to Sienna and my parents, so I asked Aunt Audrey to wait by the front door and I walked to the living room. I will cut family ties with you. Don't ever get involved with me again. Goodbye. At first, the three of them stared puzzled for a moment, but then Sienna laughed and said,
You're so dumb. You don't have to say that. Don't you get it? We don't want to get involved with you.
That girl is normal after all, because she's not a genius like you, Sienna. So her brain doesn't work like that.
Well, I guess you're right. I'm special after all.
Yes, you are the best daughter. You will go to the best university and get a high-paying job, and you will marry an elite husband, and then you will take the financial burden away, right?
These heartless people. I never want to see their faces again. I slammed the door shut and then I started walking while holding Aunt Audrey's hand. My life together with Aunt Audrey after that was very fulfilling. Ever since I started living together with Aunt Audrey, I can't stop laughing and having tons of fun. She even praised me, saying I'm helping her a lot because I'm always there wherever she messes up things because of her clumsiness. I didn't want to burden Aunt Audrey, especially when it came to finances, so I told her that I would immediately get a job after I graduated from high school. But she told me that since I studied so hard, it would be a waste if I didn't go to college. I wanted to make Aunt Audrey happy and proud of me, so I enrolled in a public university to study education. Thanks to the support of Aunt Audrey, I was able to become a college student. And then, my boyfriend, who was an alumnus of the same college, after we graduated, we got married. At the wedding, Aunt Audrey cried a lot, and when she made a speech in front of everyone, she tried to wipe her tears with a handkerchief. But what came out of her pocket was a sock. So everyone at the wedding laughed and had a great time. And then, 5 years after we got married, I can't believe that I will be able to witness those two bastards cry in front of me. Frankly speaking, I hated them so much for a long time, but now that I am happy with my current life, I don't have any thoughts of taking revenge or punishing them. I did feel refreshed when I heard that they self-destructed. Now, A few months before my husband and I got married, we were already living in the same house as where we are living now. But this day, I visited Aunt Audrey at her house because of a certain reason. However, when I arrived at her house, I saw my least favorite people in the whole wide world. They were faced back from me, and the two of them were shouting the following.
Big sis, allow us to meet Paige. We're in deep trouble.
Huh? They came to take me back only after all these years? When they're the ones who willingly gave me away to my aunt? Huh. But why are they here for me when they have their favorite daughter, Sienna?
Please, we beg you. She might be a normal child and not a genius, but it's better for us if we have her.
I didn't want to ever talk to these irresponsible parents ever again. But if I don't do anything, I won't be able to get inside Aunt Audrey's house anytime soon. So I made up my mind and determined, I said, I thought I had already cut family ties with the two of you. Just when I thought that my biological parents turned their heads back and saw me, they hurriedly ran towards me and said,
Ah, Paige, we're so glad to see you again. Your father and I thought of getting back together as a family again.
Now let's go back home, Pat.
Then my parents stopped their movements all of a sudden. The reason is because my two little girls who were standing beside me stepped in front of me and spread their arms widely.
Don't come near my mother, because we will protect their pregnant mother.
What? Pregnant?
You have 3 children?
Yes, that's right. My husband and I have 2 adorable daughters. Their names are Penelope and Kiera, and I am currently pregnant with our 3rd child. Just when I thought that my parents turned their back on us and started whispering to each other, they flashed a suspicious smile and said to me in a wheedling voice,
Paige, you did a wonderful job.
Huh?
Actually, Sienna is hopeless, that good-for-nothing daughter. She stopped going to school in high school, and all she does is do dubious research.
It's impossible for Sienna now to be elite, or even get an elite husband. She says that she is not interested in those.
We made her do whatever she wants to get a good education and land a good job, but she never even tries to look for work. We should have given her away instead of you.
You know that I had you and your sister at an advanced age, right? Your father is retiring next month, so with the situation we're in, no one will provide for our living expenses.
Pension is not enough to pay off the debts. Sienna freely used our money like it's infinite. That's why, Paige, let's live together again.
Also, the people my age in the neighborhood already have grandchildren, so I was quite jealous of them, but I'm truly thankful that I have grandkids now. I've had enough of raising a genius daughter. I want ordinary happiness. Ordinary is the best, right? Hello, grandkids. Both of you are so cute.
Paige, what is your husband's job? How much does he earn?
I see what's happening now. Sienna is too intelligent, so she isn't able to make friends. Maybe it's because she is not interested in socializing and in making close bonds with people. She probably had more fun when she was by herself learning stuff. As a result, she is unemployed and is shut in. Huh? What are you saying, old man, old woman?
Huh?
My mother is only Aunt Audrey. I'm not obliged to help the two of you who are strangers.
But...
You abandoned me because of your selfish reasons, and now you're going to abandon Sienna? What in the world do you think children are? Ugh. Please, don't come near me, or I'll be infested with foolishness.
How rude of you!
Also, could you please not come close to my daughters with your dirty mouth? Penelope and Kiera, I always tell you to not talk to suspicious people, right? Don't listen or talk to them. That old man and old woman are very suspicious. Both of you understand that, right?
Yes!
After both of my daughters innocently said that, both of my parents' faces turned red and shouted,
You! Since it has come to this, I will use all my strength, even if it means I'll have to drag you home.
To my utter shock, my mother grabbed Penelope's hand and my father grabbed Kiera's hand. Hey!
If you want your daughters back, make a promise to us that you will provide for us for the rest of our lives.
That's when it happened. Aunt Audrey finally noticed the ruckus outside her house. She hurriedly ran outside of the house and tried to help my daughters, but... To my shock and amazement, Penelope bit her grandmother's hand.
Ouch!
And And then Kiera threw a bucket at her grandfather and it hit his groin area. It was probably very painful because my mother was in tears and she was desperately blowing out puffs of air to her hand, while my father was holding his groin and rolling on the ground. Sweat was dripping from his forehead.
We will protect our mother.
Both my daughters looked so cute when they said that, so Aunt Audrey and I smiled and clapped. Moments after that, we heard the sirens blasting off from police cars.
What? Is that the police?
The two of you were shouting outside my house for quite a while. So, I reported you to the police.
The police officers who stepped out of the police car and with a stern look on their faces, they caught them with a tight grip. My mother cried and went wild telling them to stop, and my father, who was still pained by the blow on his shins, they were both hurled into 10 police cars and were taken to the police station. After that, they were scolded by the police, and it seems like they were set free, but the time has finally come when my father retired. In order to pay off their debts, they started doing part-time jobs, but since my mother doesn't have much job experience in any field anywhere, she was useless, so she got fired in every job. As for my father, he didn't like how his manager, who was decades younger than him, scolded him when he made mistakes. I heard that he quit different part-time jobs only after working there for a few days. They ended up having no choice, so they eventually borrowed money from a bad credit company. So they are now living a life of anxiety, being chased around by scary-looking men. Since they don't have money, they said that they can't afford to take care of Sienna, so she ended up getting kicked out of the house. The other day, I was so shocked when I saw Sienna as a criminal on the news. Apparently, she scammed some people and ended up in jail. As for me, I gave birth to a healthy baby, our third child, and we are living a very happy life together with my family. And oh, by the way, Aunt Audrey came to visit us the other day. Ah, it's a remote controller again.
This paper bag has clothespins inside.
What? Yikes! I put the wrong things in the bag again. Ugh, this is so embarrassing.
You haven't changed at all, Aunt Audrey. I mean, I asked you this question before too, but are you sure you're all right? Of course, me, my husband, and our daughters would be more than happy if you live with us. But if you live alone...
Actually, I think I might be getting married.
What? Really? I haven't heard you talk about this before. This is news to me.
I haven't thought of marriage or anything until now, but seeing you with your children, I thought that I want to get married someday too. I met this man during a volunteer cleanup activity in the neighborhood.
I wish you all the happiness in the world, Aunt Audrey.
Thank you for watching! What kind of crazy people will we get to see next? Stay tuned for more!